Disappearance of Brandon Swanson. On May 14, 2008, just after midnight, Brandon Swanson crashed his car into a ditch while returning from a celebration of the end of the spring semester, with friends from the Canby campus of Minnesota, West Community, and Technical College. He exited the vehicle unharmed, and used his mobile to call his parents. He told them he didn't know where he was, but thought he was around Lind, and they drove out to get him, but couldn't find him. In the end, Brandon gave up and informed them that he was getting out of the car to walk towards some lights he could make out, that made him think he was close to Lind, a tiny community about 7 miles southwest of Marshall. 47 minutes into the call, Brandon abruptly said, "Oh, shit." Until his parents hung up and repeatedly tried to contact him back, he remained mute for the duration of the call. Since then, no one has seen or heard from Brandon. His parents alerted Lind police about Brandon's disappearance around 6:30 a.m. At first they were advised that staying out all night following the last day of college classes was not unusual for young guys their age. The Lind police did launch a search later that morning, but neither Brandon nor his whereabouts were discovered. They asked Joel Dahl, the sheriff of Lyon County, to help them. The sheriff's office got Brandon's mobile phone records in order to better target the search, and they showed that Brandon had been making calls from close to Taunton, on State Highway 68, the primary road to Canby, northwest of Marshall, 25 miles from Lind. As they were looking about, officers came upon Brandon's abandoned automobile in a ditch off a gravel road near the Lincoln County line, about a mile north of Highway 68. This led to the involvement of Jack Vizecki, the sheriff of that county, in the inquiry. He explained to the media that the Lumina had become stuck on the top of an incline at the edge of the road, but just severely enough to prevent the wheels from reaching the ground on that side, rather than significantly enough to harm the vehicle. Nothing else was discovered to be wrong with the automobile, and because of the grass and gravel in the vicinity, there were no traces, and no way to determine in which direction Brandon may have begun walking. A red light, on top of a grain elevator in Taunton, could be seen from the region according to Dahl. He reasoned that it was probable Brandon had mistakenly assumed Lind was nearby, because of the red light he had seen. An overhead crew flyover and search dogs sent in from the Twin Cities were used to supplement the ground operations. Bloodhounds from adjacent Codington County, South Dakota, picked up a 3-mile smell trail that primarily followed field roads to an abandoned farm in the west-northwest, then down the Yellow Medicine River, to where it looked to enter the stream. According to his father, Brandon had claimed seeing fences and hearing water nearby. The state's Department of Natural Resources sent boats and set gates along the river, on the assumption that Brandon could have perished. On the morning of the disappearance, the water was 10 feet deep in some parts of Lincoln County, although Dahl noticed that it had already receded. Along with patrolling the banks of the river, deputies also used horses and all-terrain vehicles to cover the surrounding region. For the next 30 days, Sheriff Vizecki kept strolling the 2 kilometers of the Yellow Medicine in that region. As a sign of their continued optimism that Brandon would ultimately come back or be located, the Swansons kept their porch light on all night long every night. After fields sown soon after the disappearance had been harvested, searches began again that fall. Dogs on those searches continued to explore a region northwest of Porter that had not before been combed as they followed the odors of human remains. After the snow cleared, but before planting, work resumed in the spring, and this cycle persisted through 2011. 122 square miles had been searched by that point. The case's lead agency changed to the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension in 2010. It established a tip line, and by 2015, 90 leads had been provided through it. There are other alternatives, even though they seem unlikely, if Swanson is still alive. Although he may have purposefully vanished, his parents don't think he would have done it. Even though there was no proof of wrongdoing, Vizecki said he could not rule it out. He guessed that someone may have been in the shadows, and they got him that way. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel.